Hello and welcome to a $555 buy-in DraftKings 555 best ball draft. My name is Adam Levitan. I'm one of the co-founders here at ETR, and the point of today's video is to do a $555 buy-in, hopefully win $1 million here at the end of the season in best ball, but also to talk through some of the big differences I see when I'm drafting a best ball team versus a redraft team. And also, as we sit here, I'm recording this on Tuesday, August 19th in the afternoon. The other point of this is just rattle off as many player takes as I can here as we approach peak drafting season. As you see here, I have the 9th pick. When we first started this process a couple months ago, I actually thought that picking back here, 9, 10, 11, 12, I actually thought that that was the ideal place to pick. Now I actually think for both best ball and redraft, I actually think the ideal place to pick is somewhere between 2, 3, 4, 5 roughly, because you get access here at 20, 21, 22, 23 to one of those running backs that I really like in that second round bucket: Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. And then in best ball, I'm taking wide receiver here, especially on DraftKings full PPR most likely. But at 29, 28, 27, 26 in redraft, you can take elite tight end if McBride is there. You can take elite quarterback here. Any of Lamar, Allen, Hurts, and Daniels I think are fine. But anyways, I draw a pick 9 here. This is most likely going to be a wide receiver pick for me. We saw Justin Jefferson get back in practice today. That's a good sign. Nico Collins, super safe, I think. Amon-Ra St. Brown, also super safe. Neighbors, I'm not too worried about the injuries that he sustained. I know he's a little bit banged up, but he's always banged up and always seems to want to play. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to come with either Nico or Amon-Ra here. You see the ADP on Puka Nacua. I'll get to him here in a second. Possible I have a chance at him on the way back. Matthew Stafford was back in practice here today. After I make this pick, I'll get to my Puka thoughts here in a second. A pretty standard open here. Full PPR. I think it's a toss-up between McCaffrey and Jefferson and Lamb and Gibbs and these guys here. Nico does go there. It's going to leave me with Amon-Ra or Neighbors here. I'm going to go with Amon-Ra here. Quite safe. Full PPR, I like Amon-Ra a little bit better than I do in half PPR. Yes, Detroit's touchdowns are likely to regress this year, but it's so unlikely that Amon-Ra is going to be held under 100 catches. But yeah, back to the Puka thing. So, I do think Matthew Stafford's going to play week 1. I'm worried more than other quarterbacks that he cannot survive the full season. I think Jimmy Garoppolo would be okay for Puka Nacua. So if he gets back to me here at 16, I don't think that he will. But if he did, I would take Puka Nacua. Obviously, BTJ here. We've moved Achane down a hair. Like I was getting Achane a lot here, and I still might, but we've been getting we moved Achane down a hair on this calf stuff. Doesn't sound serious, but calf stuff can indeed linger, and someone does go ahead and take Achane. You see Puka has not gone yet. I actually take, just because of the way the drafting sets up here, on DraftKings, I do take Drake London over Brock Bowers. There's so many tight ends through that middle range that I think is okay, but that I think is good. But Bowers here in the in full PPR, I do think is better and certainly can separate. I'm not worried about the preseason usage stuff on Bowers. I just prefer Drake London, period, here. And this is the ADP bet. We do have AJ Brown slightly ahead. He's been dealing with hamstring, so it's going to be Drake London here for me. So in full PPR, and really in a lot of these formats, I'm trying to go with hero RB setups in best ball. In redraft, I'm much more likely to go running back here. So, like, if this was a half PPR redraft, I would have started Derrick Henry most likely here or Genty, and then gotten a wide receiver here, and then tried to find something like a Omarion Hampton or some other running back here at 33, because in redraft, I want to be hammering these wide receiver values that are going to come through at 40, 57, 64, 81, 88, even 105. There's so many wide receiver values I want to take. So I don't want to eat up where it's close. It's close between Drake London and Chase Brown. It's close between Drake London and Derrick Henry, but I don't want to eat up wide receiver spots in redraft here because I want to be available to take them all down through here. And yeah, honestly, like, I love Chase Brown so much that the way that they're going to use him this year, I could easily make a case for Chase Brown here over Drake London and then get into wide receiver more here. I don't think this is a reach at 17 for Chase Brown. And you see this kind of group keeps getting pushed up. The thing is, there's 4 of them, right? So as I said, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Taylor, they're all getting pushed up through here, which is making it even harder. So maybe the middle here is actually where I think is the best, just to guarantee yourself one of these guys. So what's that pick? Pick seven might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, pick 7 might be my preferred spot now. But yeah, look how many running backs are going in full PPR now. I mean, big change in the meta. And, a lot of this comes back to running back smash last year. They did not get injured at the same rate in which they've gotten injured in almost every other year before that. And you're going to run into seasons like that where it's outlier and running backs don't get injured. You see everyone pushing up running back here. I think it's right in redraft because there's so many great wide receiver values you can get later. It's tougher for me to do in full PPR best ball, these running back kind of starts, but I get it. By the way, if you have not yet checked out our draft kit, what are you waiting for? All my thoughts on draft strategy, my round by round perfect draft, where I talk about every player that I'm looking at for each round in home league type setups, is up there. Silva's top 150, shy away, player by player notes. It's $49.99. We have over a dozen people working on just the rankings alone for our draft kit, updating constantly. So I think you'd be crazy to show up to the draft without our draft kit, but I, of course, am not biased at all. But if you go to Establish the Run and Subscribe tab, find Draft Kit Pro. It's $49.99. All right, at 33 overall, it's tough click for me on Tyreek right now. I'm going to put Josh Allen in the queue, but I do not like taking elite quarterback there. We have Kyron down ranked 40th here. His ADP is 28. Travion rise continues. That's about all I would consider at running back there. I think I'm going to pass on Tyreek at pick 33 for now. If you read the sleepers and busts, I have a lot of concerns about Tyreek. I think if you thought Matthew Stafford was going to be healthy for the whole year, Devonta Adams would be going here at 33. Mike Evans with today's news is super interesting. Obviously, Chris Godwin reportedly still not spotted running at practice. Seems unlikely he's going to avoid the PUP list to start the season at this point. And Kittle, I think, is okay here as well. Yeah, I actually think that Mike Evans might be my favorite pick here. The Jalen McMillan stuff sounds really bad, and I have negative vibes on Godwin right now as well. Obviously, Egbuka is a absolute smash. But Mike Evans over Devontae Adams right now, I think, is my preference. And I'd love to get a running back with one of these picks here. I don't want to take Travion at 33, but man. I think I will be picking at 41 next. There goes Josh Allen. At 41, I'll have a chance at Kenneth Walker, which I think is enough. Otherwise, I would take one of James Cook or Kyron. But I think in this format and given the news, I think it's Mike Evans for me here, expecting his ADP to rise a bit here as people digest the Bucks wide receiver injuries here a little bit more. All right, coming back at 40. Again, in redraft, I would have taken elite quarterback there. I'll go back to that in a second here after I make this pick. Again, don't love elite quarterback. Here on full PPR, DraftKings want to get 3 stackable ones. I'll throw Kenneth Walker into the mix here as well. Ted McMillan, Xavier Worthy, I think are both decent picks here too. There goes James Cook. And they left TreVeyon Henderson for me. So I think the floor on TreVeyon Henderson is the James Cook, Shane Vereen type of role, Danny Woodhead. But I think he has upside for much more than those guys did. Those guys were kind of strict passing backs. TreVeyon Henderson can be a base back also. And so if Ramondre Stevenson's fumbling and unexplosiveness continues, I don't see why they wouldn't continue to use TreVeyon Henderson in more and more of a base role in addition to the pass catching role. So here on full PPR, TreVeyon Henderson obviously super strong here. I hate moving on air. In other words, there hasn't really been news around TreVeyon Henderson. He's just up, around plus in ADP, which isn't great, but I wanted to have running back there over Ted McMillan, which I think would have been my other, over McMillan or Worthy. I like both those guys. It's an interesting 2v2. If I take Kyron here, I could have had Worthy here versus Mike Evans and TreVeyon. I think that's an interesting decision, but I given the way things have broken in the preseason, I kind of like that, the Evans TreVeyon. Anyways, back to elite quarterbacks. So like this kind of start, Saquon, JT, Lamar Jackson in redraft, I think is pretty strong. Like it's not going to happen as much in best ball and sharp best ball stuff like this, but in redraft, you're going to get a ton of good wide receivers through here. So in redraft, I'm not worried at D-Gags doesn't have wide receiver. The other thing that I'd say is that if I was my team wouldn't look like this in redraft. I would have definitely had Amon-Ra, Chase Brown start at worst, or Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, or something like that. But I would have been willing to take Jaden Daniels here over Mike Evans, over TreVeyon Henderson in redraft, where I have to pick one quarterback to start each week. I have to pick exactly one quarterback to start in the playoffs. Elite quarterback is pretty strong here. So in redraft, yeah, definitely elite quarterback for me there. All right. Yeah, plenty of strong wide receiver picks through here. Teteroa, McMillan, Xavier Worthy, George Pickens. I really like all 3 of those guys. Probably like Pickens the best. Close for me between Worthy and McMillan, but I like all 3 of those guys for sure. And like, I don't think it's crazy to think they're going to outscore these 3: Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Tyreek Hill. Like, and they go around later, and that's why it's tough for me to pick kind of through this range. I end up reaching for someone that I don't necessarily love. Jameson Williams, another good wide receiver pick here. And yeah, I was hoping Egbuka might get back to me here so I could set up the Baker double, given all the injuries in Tampa. But all this news is going to have Egbuka's ADP absolutely through the roof. So as we come back through here at 57, not going to be quarterback for me. Not going to be tight end for me. Chuba is okay. He's going to lose some work to Rico Dowdle, especially in the pass game. James Conner, I think, is going to beat his ADP if he sustains health. Like, they want to ride him again. RJ Harvey, I think, is an interesting pick, especially if, it's hard for me to think J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy for the whole year. But the real thing that I want to be doing through here at pick 57, just like in redraft, is hammering wide receiver. Waddle, Flowers, Hunter, Ridley. And there's some more in these next few rounds here. You see Pearsall here, I think, is decent as well. So Ridley went, as did Chuba. There goes Waddle. Yeah, I get it on DK Metcalf. It's tough for me with Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers, despite this huge target share that I'm sure DK Metcalf is going to see to go DK Metcalf here. So, um, yeah, I'm going to continue to hammer wide receiver through this range here with Mr. Flowers. The argument's always the same on the Baltimore guys. Like, if they get more volume, they will smash. Everybody's just so efficient in the entire offense that it's hard to project more volume, but in the outcomes where it happens, and Zay deserves more volume. I mean, he's been awesome, and I trust Todd Monken so much. And there goes DK Metcalf. Come back here at 64. Still not going to be quarterback for me. Still not going to be tight end for me. Throw Tone P into the mix here. This Tajee Spears high ankle thing is scaring me somewhat. Rashee Rice, I've been passing on here, expecting the suspension to be somewhere in like the 6 to 7 game range, but we don't know exactly when it's going to come down. Sometime after September 30th. If it starts to get too far away, and there goes RJ Harvey. Yeah, that sucks. I definitely would have liked to have RJ Harvey here. I do have one running back 4. So we have all these guys ranked relatively close. I do like Debo, given what's going on with I like Debo given what's going on with Brian Robinson's situation. Like, I do think they're going to get the ball creatively to Debo. I do think Debo is perfect for Cliff Kingsbury. I'm just not sure how much gas Debo has left in the tank to handle handoffs, handle goal line rushes, handle a bunch of screens. And I do think they're going to get McLaurin back at some point. So I thought that one was close there between Pearsall and Debo, but I'll take a bit more of a upswing there. And yeah, Pollard, I do like Pollard. Um, I'm in this kind of format, best ball and full PPR with bonuses. I'm leaning into wide receiver heavier here, and then you'll see what kind of running backs I'm able to get later. Do you see the auto drafter here? Got 3 quarterbacks in a row, and that's going to put pressure on me at the quarterback position, and everybody else who hasn't taken one yet, because obviously in a normal draft, these are spread across 3 different teams who won't be taking quarterback, where I want to take quarterback, which is like in this 88 to 136 range. I want to try to get 2 to 3 of them. We also lost Anthony Richardson today from kind of that late round option. I don't think he's as strong anymore. Probably wouldn't take him until round 20. So yeah, something for me to be aware of here at the quarterback position. But I have Purdy, I have Baker, I have Penix, I have Goff as stack options. Obviously, in redraft, I would not be worrying about that as much about the stacking stuff. But in best ball, especially DraftKings, I'm trying to get 3 stacked quarterbacks if I can. You see really high here on Matthew Golden, understandably so. All right, it's coming back to me here at 81. In theory, could be Baker. I don't love forcing that. David Montgomery, I still like. He's one Jahmyr Gibbs injury away from just totally smashing. I do still think he'll score plenty of touchdowns. Aaron Jones, I still like. Pacheco, I think, is going to lose a little bit of work to Kareem Hunt, but back to health. Hopefully, you listen to the Stefania pod. There's a chance he's just so much better than he was before. Still okay with Jalen Warren, despite Arthur Smith. Then you get Tyrone Tracy, who's going to start the year with, I think, a pretty big workload. And Jordan Mason as the touchdown option there in Minnesota also. And yeah, I mean, wide receiver picks just don't stop. And there's these other ones. Shaheed and Mooney, ADP have gone down so much. I think undeservedly so. Like, I still like Shaheed a lot. And Mooney, I kind of think is going to play week 1. We also have the Hawkinson option here, although, oh man, shout out Penn State. I might have to go try to get Tyler Warren here. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, some forces at quarterback here. You see the Knicks to Sutton here. Naked Mahomes. Much more in these best ball formats where there's a finite number of quarterbacks and you can obviously draft three. Much more pressure on quarterback here than there is in redraft, where if I didn't get one of the elites, I'm totally fine waiting to see what comes back way further down the line. There goes Pacheco and Demont. I'm up in 3 picks here. Certainly don't need to force it at wide receiver. I'm not going to force it at quarterback either. I can certainly go Aaron Jones. Oh, there goes Aaron Jones. So here at pick 81, probably going to be a pass for me there. Not going to force it there. Yes. Shout out Penn State. I am excited about Tyler Warren with Daniel Jones under center and the way they've used him. He's been out there for every snap but one with the starters in the preseason. This is a bit of a reach on Tyler Warren relative to where he's been going for most of the summer, but I feel so good about his usage, and you think he gets a boost with Daniel Jones. So, yeah, I'm excited about Tyler Warren, and certainly you can make a case for TJ Hawkinson easily over him, but I want to balance that out a little bit. I have more Hawkinson than Warren right now. Done like over 100 teams, and I think I have like 12 or 15 or something like that in this 5-5-5 so far with a decent amount of Hawkinson. But come back around here. Certainly could use some running back help. Jordan Mason would be an interesting pick. Baker did go. Yeah, Baker and Goff went. So yeah, I'm starting to be under pressure big time at quarterback here. Could certainly go Fields or Purdy on my next round. There goes Downs. Yeah, I think I need running back enough here to go Jordan Mason over Caleb Johnson. I know we have Caleb decently ahead in rank. I think the Vikings are going to score a lot of touchdowns this year. So I'll go ahead and get Jordan Mason there. Not a lot of correlation on my team here, which I don't love for best ball, but I'll try to stack some up here a little bit later. Obviously, the running backs are going to be pushed up a bit in redraft. Wide receivers are going to be pushed down a bit. Guys like James Conner, like projectable workload guys. And, like I said, I think James Conner will beat ADP if he stays healthy, but these kind of guys are going to go higher in redraft. I'm a little surprised Brees still hanging in here. Obviously, really bad preseason signs on him. Been a pass for me lately at 36. Kamara at 37 is a bit early for me too, especially after you started Henry Achane. So not something that I would do there. But through this range, you see so many tight ends and quarterbacks go. And to adjust that for redraft, like if you don't get Lamar, Josh, Hurts, or Daniels, if you wait, you're going to have your pick. I mean, there's tons of quarterbacks that haven't even gone yet that I'm going to look at that you're going to have access to. Fields, Herbert, what else is there? Purdy, Dak, Caleb. I mean, all these guys. McCarthy. I mean, I'm willing to take all these guys. Drake May. So hopefully, I might have to go quarterback here on my next turn. But I feel okay about that. And in a redraft room, you can, if your bench is deep enough, you can draft 2 quarterbacks, play matchups. And at tight end, you could take Tyler Warren and you could take Dallas Goedert later and see how that works out. I think that'll work out pretty well, in my opinion. See Michael Pittman going up a little bit higher here on the Daniel Jones news. All right, coming back to me here at 105. Let's see. I think, I don't love naked Dak, but he would be so far past ADP. I think I would consider that. Fields naked. Obviously, I want Penix, but his ADP is a bit later. I can take Purdy, although there's not great backdoors there with Purdy. God, and I can take McCarthy and May. Actually go like this with pass catching running back stats. McCarthy not as strong just because Jordan Mason's not really a pass catcher. Yeah, Charbonnet and Dobbins really the only options for me at running back here. I'm gonna have to hit on some running back stuff late, which I'm okay with. Trying to bet on more chaos at the running back position here this year. I would take Cooper Kupp here if he came to me. If he wasn't, if I wasn't so loaded at wide receiver already. I don't think Kupp's gonna be good, but we're talking 20 spots past ADP. Mark Andrews way past ADP here as well. But yeah, I think I need quarterback pretty badly here. And just on rank alone, we have Brock, Caleb, Herbert. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Purdy here. Purdy, Pearsall, stack. And then hopefully I can get another quarterback, Drake May, hopefully on the way back. Just making sure these guys don't have any Patriots. I don't think that they do. So I think a pretty good chance to get Drake May here on the way back. Just check those bye weeks real quick. Brock Purdy's bye is 14, and oh no. Ugh, Drake May's bye is 14 also. What is Penix's bye? Penix's bye is 5, and his ADP is 136. So yeah, I can take Penix at 129. I can also set up the Falcons double here. If I go Mooney here, then I can get Penix almost certainly, hopefully, at 129. I could also use Charbonnet or Dobbins here at running back. I think I prefer Charbonnet there. I think Drake May went. Yeah, just checking out what running back's going to be available to me here a bit later. It starts to get pretty thin. There goes Christian Kirk. Man, I do want to set up the Penix double, but I'm already so strong here at wide receiver. Oh, this is a tough one. It's a tough one, but I think I need to invest a little bit more at running back here. So I'm going to go Charbonnet. I don't think Kenneth Walker's foot issue is a big deal per se, but the fact that he's just already getting maintenance here at age 24 in August doesn't instill the most confidence in me. So, and I mean, Charbonnet has shown an ability to handle big workloads, and Charbonnet has been the one that's been out there with the starters, and I think he can earn a decent role. There goes McCarthy and Caleb. Certainly need Penix to get back to me here. I have opened up a little bit of later QB here with Darnold as well. Trevor Lawrence backdoors are so easy to complete. Lawrence Tootin, Lawrence De'Ami Brown, Lawrence Strange. Tua is tougher, don't have as many backdoors. Cam Ward is easy with Io Minor or Chigakonkwo. I like both them. And Bryce Young is easy backdoors too. So yeah, there's plenty more quarterback to go on. I'm glad I didn't force quarterback there. There's plenty more quarterback to take. Judkins one is tough for me. I know that his case got they chose not to pursue charges, but he still hasn't practiced with the team. He's still going to be a 2-down back. Sampson and Ford are going to play on the team projected to score the fewest points in the league. It's just tough. I talked about that on Market Monday this past week. Hopefully you guys caught that. There goes Herbert and T-Law up here at 129. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running back help. I can make a reach on Braylon Allen if I wanted more running I do believe the Braylon Allen going to play a decent amount of stuff. It's just, I still think Brees is going to play 55, 60%, and you have Fields taking rushing attempts and rushing touchdowns also. So I don't want to go too far on Brees, but I do like him. And yeah, if I can get Mooney, that would be sweet. Mooney Penix would be a great turn. I don't know if I can get that. Goddard I like here as well. I mean, Gibbons has no quarterbacks yet. Hoosier only has one. Renegade has two. There are other quarterbacks available besides Penix. Probably with better back doors, but just trying to think if I should go Mooney first or Penix first here. Normally, I always go wide receiver first because it makes it less likely that the person gets Penix. I just need quarterbacks so badly. Yeah, I think I want to take Mooney here, but sadly, I think I have to go Penix and hope that Mooney makes it back. Skeptical that he will. If he doesn't, then I can just knock out my third quarterback. Well, I do have some Darnold I could get later, I guess, with Charbonnet, like Darnold, Horton, Barner, or something like that is at least an option. There goes Ramondre, Fat Mondre, as some would call him. I come back at pick 136 here. I do want to get some more upside into my room, and Eckler is a pretty good pick too here in the wake of all the Brian Robinson stuff. Unfortunately, I think I might. Let's see what happened. Oh, they did take Mooney. Yeah, Mooney Dobbs there for Renegades. That's nice. That's a nice price on Mooney. Really nice. 136. Yeah, I might try to go for it. Try to get some more depth here at running back. Let me pull up Eckler a bit here. Give my running back room some more stability. You know, Tootin would be the fun one here, and Goddard is a safe one as well. I think for the way my running back room is set up, I probably need some more just reliable production here, which is Eckler over Tootin. If I had a deeper running back room, I would take Tootin over Eckler here. But yeah, friend of the show, Eckler. With Brian Robinson gone, I don't think Eckler's role changes like ton. He's still the pass down back 2 minute, 4 minute. However, there's certainly more room to go around now in base than there was before. Certainly more room at the goal line than there was before. And I do think, Krosky Merritt's gonna play. And we have Krosky Merritt. Did somebody already take him? Oh my God, somebody already took him. I mean, he's just been. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. 97 overall on Krosky Merritt. I like Krosky Merritt. That's higher than Brian Robinson was going. And I think Chris Rodriguez is going to play and Eckler is going to play more. So it's tough for me at 97. I think we have Krosky Merritt ranked closer to the 120s, 130 or so. But yeah, you see, I started with 5 wide receivers here in my first 6 picks. Haven't taken one since, even though I would have loved to in Mooney there. I thought Mims was a good pick. But generally speaking, this is kind of the way that I like to build my teams in DraftKings Best Ball specifically. All right, coming around here at 153. I only have 2 quarterbacks. I do not want to get stuck out in the cold here. And so it's going to be Darnold, Geno, or Ward for me, especially because Gibbons only has 1 quarterback. These guys, Hoosier and Renegade, only have 2 each. So they're going to be looking for quarterback also. So hopefully one of these quarterbacks can get back to me. Ward Darnold or Geno. If not, I'll have to roll with 2, or I can get some Dart later. You get Shuck late. You can get Dimes very late. Yeah, so maybe I don't have to quite force it at quarterback if I'm willing to go with one of those guys. Purdy plus Penix is like the border of where I don't want a good third. But I still think I do. All right, plenty more running back help available here. Coming around at 153. Yeah, Hollywood Brown back in practice. That's a good sign. Tillman gets the boost with Flacco in the mix. Not a lot of exciting stuff here, though. As Strange as, that Lawrence Strange backdoor I like. And if I would have gotten Drake May, I didn't, but if I would have gotten Drake May, Hunter Henry, I think is nice. And then given all the Bucs injuries, Kate Otten is an interesting one, as is Chig. So I'm not too worried about tight end yet here either. Let's see what's going on at quarterback. Yeah, so if I do go, I believe if I do go Seattle, I probably can get onto Horton. There goes Pop Douglas. Yeah, I think I need to go Darnold here just to lock up quarterback. And then let me take a look here at Seattle. Horton 192. Just make sure I'm not missing anything on San Francisco. Yeah, Garendo. I like Garendo as a 1 injury away guy. He's been hurt now, as has Jordan James, but I'll put him in the queue there. Anyways, done at quarterback. Need to continue to look at the other positions here, obviously. Yeah, Ray Davis 1 injury away with James Cook, but Ty Johnson is going to play on pass down still in that scenario. I think Hollywood Brown's an interesting upside wide receiver, but I'm going to take Horton, and there's a couple other wide receivers that I like late a bit more now. This would be a very late Ertz share. Man, that's a late Ertz share. There goes Hollywood. I think I'm going to get some late Ray Davis here. Yeah, I mean, oh, there goes Ray Davis. So I could get some either late outrageous Ertz price, which, I mean, he survived the entire year. I'm not sure how, but outrageous Ertz price or Rashad White. You know what? I think given the injuries, they could use Rashad White more in the pass game here. And this is like one of the latest prices I've seen on Rashad White. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. Up to 5 running backs here now. Probably only going to take 6 in this setup at running back. And there's plenty that I like. Late Shipley, like the running backs that are 1 injury away that can capitalize on chaos. I think Marks is okay. Shipley, Taj Brooks, I think is direct backup to Chase Brown. Giddens. I do think C-Rod is interesting as like a 20th round pick. I'll put him in there. Yeah, Woody Marks, I know everybody just sees him as a strict pass down back, and Dario Gunawable is there, which makes it tough. But if Nick Chubb can't play, which I'm skeptical of, he just went. If Nick Chubb can't play, and I don't think Joe Mixon's going to play this season, or if he does, it'll be very limited. And I'm not sure that Dameon Pierce can play. You can squint and see it for Woody Marks. I know I talked about him a bunch, but he's probably a better upside bet than some of the running back plays that I've made here. Yeah, we have plenty of picks left. That's why I love the 20 rounds. I mean, I have plenty of ideas at late wide receiver, late tight end that I'm going to hit through here. There goes Will Shipley ahead of ADP. You know, Will Shipley did not play in the last preseason game. AJ Dillon did. So, you know, I felt like that was kind of close the door on that battle. If Saquon Barkley were to go down, I do think Dillon would play, but Shipley would be the main back. All right, coming back here at 177. Yeah, I definitely don't need to force it at running back. I've hammered running back. Quinn Johnson, unfortunately, had that concussion. We'll see how severe that is. Thornton's going to be out there a ton. Legette's trying to hold off Coker, which scares me because I think Coker might be better, but I think he's at least interesting. I'm going to have to make a reach on Horton here soon to complete that stack. But yeah, Otten is the one that I think moving up with all the Bucks injuries. And I don't have Baker, but I do have some correlation here with Evans, Rashad White, and Cade Otten. If the Bucks have a good season and score a lot of points, these guys kind of drag each other along. I think it'd be Otten Horton here for me. I can remove the quarterbacks from the queue. Shuck. Dimes. Yeah, Dart would have been an interesting one with this team. You know, you have Purdy and Penix at the outset, and then hopefully Dart for the second half as your third quarterback. And I do Dart, Slayton a bunch. So, you know, maybe didn't need to force Darnold there, but I didn't know if Dart would get back to me. Yeah, Be More Life just keeps getting all the hurt guys because he was auto drafting. Yeah, I'll go ahead and add to the tight end room here. K. Dotton, who honestly, like, while Godwin and McMillan are out, could be the third option. Now, I want to win late in the season, not early. So, you know, that's why Godwin's worth less. If this was a week one only league, then yeah, Dotton would be worth a lot. But yeah, let me see here. Do I think I can get Horton back to 192? There's like no chance. He's buzzing, and I pick here at 201. So I'm probably gonna have to go ahead and make it the reach here for Horton. I do think Noel was interesting as like a late season. Any of the three gets hurt, you know, Higgins, Kirk, or Nico, and I think we'll see Jalen Noel plenty. Diami, Coker as the bet against Leggett. I mentioned Slayton. Io Minora, I think is interesting, and Tesla. Those are like. That's why I don't mind waiting a little bit here. Theo Johnson, I think, is a good pick too. He's been out there for every snap with the starters. Also, that was Jasuki Johnson. I think is a nice one there for Hoosier. But yeah, I need to go Horton here to get a Seattle correlation going. And in redraft, you know, guys like Mims and Horton, Marvin Mims and Horton in redraft, who we don't know exactly what their role is going to be. In redraft, you know, ideal picks where you can put them on your bench. If they don't have the usage we want early, we can move on. You know, especially Marvin Mims. So yeah, whenever I'm playing redraft, I'm always thinking about that on my bench. Like, all right, I can take some boring guy here, or I can get a look at someone for the first week or two, Marvin Mims, see if he's actually going to be out there for 80% of Bo Nix's dropbacks. And if he is, I keep him. If not, I want to be working the wire anyways. I mean, that's how we win in redraft anyways, by being aggressive on the wire. Yeah, some good tight end picks through here. Theo, likely they say is going to be back relatively soon. That's a really good likely price. Jatavian Sanders has lost a bunch of weight. Mason Taylor came back from the high ankle and looks good already for the Jets. Chig, I thought was a good pick, and obviously I thought Otten was good too. So, like, is there that big a difference between Theo Johnson and Kyle Pitts 40 picks apart? I don't really think so personally. Their tight end play I can make with Seattle is AJ Barner. I've kind of moved Arroyo down, and I think we've moved him down in the ranks also. I'm worried about how many snaps he's going to play because we moved him down to 209. I'm worried about Arroyo, how many snaps he can play. I'll put him in the queue here as I do need one more tight end, but I don't love that one. Fannin did sit out with the starters, and Freiermuth is just a touchdown guy. I prefer him in more touchdown heavy formats, but he was like born to score touchdowns, was Pat Freiermuth. One more running back at some point here. I have Giddens and C-Rod in the queue. Probably need two more wide receivers and one more tight end here. Yeah, Jalen Wright, I mean, just never seen him really do anything good. And I'm worried that Ollie Gordon is going to push Jalen Wright for some of that stuff, goal line stuff, etc. So Taj Brooks, again, I think good pick here. One injury away from a really good role. And with Samaje Perine's role would grow, but they still need a base back, and I think that would be Taj Brooks if something happened to Chase Brown. See, Io Minor with Cam Ward, backdoor stack here, easy. I would have gone Chig here, Cam Ward, Chig, Io Minor, but he already had Kraft and elite tight end and Bowers. And that's the thing about taking Bowers and McBride. I like doing it on DraftKings. I do it plenty on DraftKings, but it does block you out from some of the better late round tight end values, like getting Chig here with Ward at 173. All right, coming up to me here at 202. I think I need some more wide receiver help here. Noel. Tesla's ADP is way higher. Freiermuth, Arroyo, Fannin. Yeah, I'll try to go wide receiver here, I think. One like strategy thing here is like Chris Rodriguez has not been drafted in there goes Noel. Maybe I should have taken him. Tesla with Amon Ra. The way this runs out clean for me is something happens to Jameson Williams. I do think Tesla is like the direct backup to Jameson Williams. Like I said, Noel probably only needs an injury to one of their top three guys. Yeah, there goes Freiermuth. Man, I'm just not comfortable with Arroyo's usage, but yeah, I can always go last round Barner. So I'm going to skip tight end here. I think I'm going to go for last running back, C-Rod. I have not taken C-Rod once. I've done over 100 drafts. Have not taken Chris Rodriguez once. This team capitalizes on a JCM not hitting, and then I have Eckler and C-Rod, which I think is an interesting bet to make. And again, this is just a best ball thing. C-Rod has not been drafted in most of these 555s. So if I get to the final with this team or get to the playoffs at all and C-Rod goes off, I'm going to be like one of the only ones that has him, which is pretty valuable. You have 4 tight ends in a row here for Hoosier, and Hoosier is a reg poker guy and sharp guy. And like, if you're going to do the 4 tight end thing, this is how you do it. You don't take one until round 15. Then you use 4 straight here at the back end. So I need 1 tight end and 1 wide receiver, I believe, to close it out. As long as Giddens I still like, but I wouldn't reach for any other running backs. I think Pierce is like moderately interesting. But I think they're going to try with Chubb first in the pounder roll and see what happens. Again, by the end of the year, though, I hope, I think the best bet is Marks. Let's put it that way. It's not doesn't hit very often, but when it does hit, what do we win when we win? I think Marks is the better pick there. And wide receivers getting thin here. Maybe I could have tried to go Noel Tesla here. I don't know if that would have gotten to that, but all right. Yeah, I could take Ray with Penix just in case this Mooney shoulder thing lingers. And even if it doesn't, I mean, Ray played an incredible amount of snaps last year just because they're in 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver personnel so much. I've taken plenty of last round AD Mitchell. Dude is just a baller. Like, can't keep his head on straight. It seems had a bad offsides, lined up offsides on a play on what would have been a big play last week. But I mean, Higbee is just safe volume too. I do think the Raiders like Michael Mayer. If something happened to Brock Bowers, that would be an interesting one. But yes, certainly need tight end. This is a very late Arroyo. I honestly might prefer Barner at this point, though. It's so tough. I don't think I want Pierce. Oh, somebody took Coker. Oh, somebody took Ray. Wow. That stings a little bit. I might have to take AD Mitchell here. I need one more wide receiver. I think Trey Tucker is ahead of Jack Besh for now. He's at least moderately interesting. I think Whittington could push Atwell at some point. He's moderately interesting. Yeah, I think it's got to be AD Mitchell here. There's really. Oh my God. Be More Life is auto drafting and comes back and snipes me. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. Oh, God. Malik Washington is another one. If you don't, I might have preferred Malik Washington there just as a bet against Tyreek. All right. Well, now I have to take tight end. Man, that was brutal. Ray and AD Mitchell going before I could pick. That was brutal. Man, you've never really lived unless it's Tuesday at 3 p.m. Mountain and you get sniped on Ray McLeod and you feel terrible about it. Like, last round Shuck, I think is good. Okay. God, nobody wants Arroyo anymore. I don't think AJ Barner's a natural pass catcher at all. I think Arroyo will be their pass catcher. But Barner's going to play so many more snaps. God. I'm going to take an upside swing. I don't know what the upside. God. That was a tough one, too. All right. That was a frustrating end, but I thought this went reasonably well here for me, kind of in this best ball full PPR with bonuses set up. I like to hammer wide receiver early. I think St. Brown versus Neighbors is close. If this was a redraft league, I likely would have gone Genty or Henry here instead of Amon-Ra. If I did go Amon-Ra in redraft, I definitely would have taken I would have taken Chase Brown here. If this was a redraft league, totally fine with this though, the way it ran out for me here with Drake London and Amon-Ra. Get back here certainly could have taken Kyron and then something like Worthy or Pickens instead of Travion, but happy to get Mike Evans on the Bucks news, and Travion, obviously one of the higher upside plays that you can make. And I did end up with 6 running backs here. So, even if Travion isn't like a huge hit early, I end up with 6: Mason, Charbonnet, Eckler, Rashad White, C-Rod. Certainly not the strongest room, but I do think it has some upside here. Need things to break right, obviously, at running back. But again, this year, especially in this format, I want to try to capitalize on what's been the trend for the last 8-10 years, which is chaos at the running back position. That was not the case last year. I'd consider that an outlier. So this team hopefully capitalizes well on running back chaos. Derrick Henry gets hurt. It's better for Zay Flowers. CMC gets hurt. It's better for Ricky Pearsall. Bucky Irving gets hurt. It's better for Mike Evans. There's so many different ways to go. It's not just these other running backs getting hurt. There's downstream effects also. Reach for me here on Tyler Warren. Hawkinson versus Warren. I think Hawkinson is probably better, but I have more Hawkinson right now. Wanted to get my boy Tyler Warren. Shout out Penn State. And on today's Daniel Jones news, I think he'll move up some. Prefer Jordan Mason on more touchdown-heavy formats, but thought there's a fine price for him and his solid role here. Had to step on it at quarterback. Probably regret this Darnold pick a little bit, considering I could have gotten Jackson Dart at 208. I could have gotten Tyler Shuck at 232. That probably would have been better than Darnold, but I do get some upside, more upside in wide receiver by getting onto Horton and Tesla here late. Hate this Trey Tucker pick. Panicked. Probably should have been Malik Washington. What does a Trey Tucker good season look like? How does it even happen? Malik Washington, you can see how it happens. Tyreek Hill loses his mind or gets hurt. So, yeah, that seems pretty bad. Arroyo versus Barner. Trying to swing for the fences a little bit. And so that's Arroyo, but I think Barner's probably a more solid pick. But, yeah, reasonably happy with this one. Sucks to get swiped at the end there. I won't be able to sleep tonight. Anyways, this was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Got some good stuff out of it for both best ball and redraft formats. Don't forget, head to establishedrun.com. You can get my takes on every player. If you're getting ready for a redraft, my round by round favorite picks, all of Silva's shy away list, all of Silva's top 150 rankings, change log for both ETR and Silva's change log up as well for when we change stuff there. 4. Producer Ryan. 4. Producer Luke. For everyone behind the scenes at ETR, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.